you can only watch it for the first time once. It'll be interesting to see what we catch and what we don't.
Did you ever play the video game Mass Effect?
This is where Babylon 5 is becoming Babylon 5.
That was great. I love that.
100% completely accurate, definitive ranking of Babylon 5.
I love it so much.
We're officially into it, Jeff.
The year is 2025. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the second time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second time. My name is Brent Allen.
And I'm Jeff Akin. Brent and I used to be Star Trek podcasters, but then we watched Babylon 5 for the first time, and everything changed. Now, we're watching this incredible series for the second time, paying attention to all the things that we didn't know and couldn't have known the first time around.
But we are still searching for those sci-fi messages that we find in the series. Will we find the same ones we did the first time around, or are we going to find new things? We're asking what this episode's trying to teach us. We're looking for mirrors to society, hope that things can be better in the future, or ways just to be better human beings to one another. Now, all of that said, this is your warning point. From this spot of the show forward, spoilers will abound. So if you're watching this show for the very first time, please consider this your spoiler warning. Stop listening right now. Go back to our other one where we did it for the first time that was completely spoiler free, because we didn't know. We just didn't know. And you guys out there were so cool to help keep us spoiler free. That one is perfectly safe. You guys make sure you do that one first and then join us here on the second watch.
Today, Brent, we're watching the episode A Race Through Dark Places for the second time. My first time watch, I tried to remember what I remembered from this one. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is the Underground Railroad one. And all I really remember about this one was there was dude who we saw as a lurker one time before. Got a lot of Talia stuff. And I seem to remember, like, Franklin, we were supposed to believe that Franklin was a hero out of this one, but I think I actually ended up like not liking him even more, is what I remember a ton from my first watch. Do you remember what you thought of it the first time around?
I remember liking it, but I don't necessarily remember why.
That's fair.
Like you, my memory serves, this is the episode, and this might be the Underground Railroad, where you're right. We have the lurker who turns out he's a telepath. He's the guy from Stargate, from the movie Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of the Aberdonians there. And they do this whole thing with Talia where they get her to basically do something to Bester. Maybe that's why I liked it, because of how they pulled one over on Bester. I think Bester's in this episode. And they pulled something like, if this is the episode I'm remembering, I'm like, yeah, I really like this episode, but I don't remember the exact specifics why. That's where I'm left with this episode. You would say, hey, it's A Race Through Dark Places, and I'd be like, which one was that?
Sure, man. Whatever. Well, Brent, I went back and listened to our first time episode, the one that Brent just told you to go back and listen to if you haven't before. Do you want to know what we actually thought of this one?
I would love to know what we actually thought of this one.
We really liked this episode.
Did we?
A lot.
Good. Okay.
We thought that A and B plots were perfectly juxtaposed together.
Love it.
You were blown away that Bester showed up, because in your prediction, right, the week before, like, there's no way Bester's going to be here. And here he was.
Yeah.
At one point you said, and I love this so much, if we do Babylon 5 for the second time, I want all the spoilers.
Yes. I want them all. Put them all in our chat. Hey, listen, our council chambers are joining us. Guys, have at it. Tell us everything. Do it. Let's go.
2 times in this one, watching it the first time, I yelled, what? Like, I was just so blown away with different things that happened. I said it was fun, it was heavy, super dark, and that this episode should be a jewel in JMS's crown. I asked the question, is this one of the Babylon 5 episodes? And I planted a flag in this one.
Uh-oh.
I said that Bester, not really wrong. He's just following the law, which led us to a really, really good conversation on morally reprehensible laws. But my thing was, if you take out the scene with him on Mars, which I will reiterate here, which I did there, no one on Babylon 5 saw that scene on Mars. So if you take that out of the equation, he just shows up, is following the rules, and does his job. That's it. I will be watching with an unbiased eye in this episode. We talked a lot about Kosh. He said, he's barely even a part of this show. Do we even have to worry about him at this point?
That's fair. That's really fair.
It's been almost nothing this whole time. We have talked a little bit, even here in our second watch through, but even back then, about Talia and her kind of flip-flopping, or our perceived flip-flopping on Psychor. And so we talked about the brainwashing that the telepaths experience have to be why. It's like she has an abuse survivor relationship. You know, oh, they only hurt me because they love me. I'm only doing the things that they need me to do. And you talked quite a bit and really well about the intentional use of the term underground railroad that very specifically is meant to invoke images of slavery and how the telepaths are treated. And you had this great line. It was the delivery of the line that was so good. You said, imagine as a person of color, I mean as a telepath, you're told that your very existence is a threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Garibaldi gives an incredible assessment of Psychor, and we talked about it. Basically, he perfectly called them Nazis without calling them Nazis. And again, we talked in the messages piece quite a bit about immoral laws, and that it's important that you call it out that this is an immoral law and you fight those immoral laws as much as possible.
Seems like we might have a bit of a discussion after this one this time around too.
Might be a lot to talk about.
I don't remember any of the stuff you're talking about. That's so interesting you say all that.
Yeah, we went deep.
Yeah, this is the stuff, man. I know you and I have talked about it a little bit offline, but here, I'll just say here, you and I have talked about what does it mean if we actually put together a kind of a running thing about the messages that we find in Babylon 5 and what those are. Because frankly, it is the most important part of this episode. It's the part that I think that gets talked about the least, we get comments on the least, but I hope it's the part that is most impactful for folks, you know. I think it's the most important thing that we do. And I think it's the thing that probably sets us apart from most other places.
Yeah, and we're just super cool.
Well, there's that too.
Says the guy with the Babylon 5 podcast. Brent, I listened to the podcast. You scoured the web for things that JMS said about this episode. What'd you find?
Well, I always start with the Lurker's Guide, because now we're allowed to look at that and go through stuff on that. It had a question. This wasn't part of what JMS said, but there was a question that was asked for it. It said this: watch for a minor character from a previous episode who turns out not to be so minor after all. I cannot believe that they're talking about Bester here.
No, I couldn't think so.
He was not a minor character in his previous episode.
No.
He was pretty major. So I don't know who we're talking about here.
I want to think it's Lurker guy, SG1 guy, or Stargate guy.
Is it? I feel like it's got to be bigger than that, though. Maybe not. Maybe it's because I know we never see the guy again. So he's really not that big or important. It just, that guy is a telepath, and now he's a mouthpiece for the group for this one single episode. Like,
in a big way.
Sure, but not in the overall scheme of everything. And this thing just says it turns out they're not so minor after all. I would argue he is still a minor character.
He's not so minor. There's minor and so minor.
He's pretty minor.
Still pretty minor.
Pretty minor.
Just not so.
You might be right. That might be who they're talking about. Judy Leavitt plays the Psychor person who is opposite Bester in the scene on Mars. Any idea who she is, Jeff?
That's Walter Koenig's wife.
That's his wife. Wifey.
She's since passed. May she rest in peace.
Yes. There is a production gaffe in this episode that I like to point out some of the production stuff sometimes when we get information on that. In the scene right outside Earhart's, when Delenn is asking Sheridan to dinner. So those are our cues. We're outside Earhart's. Sheridan's asking Delenn is asking Sheridan to dinner. There's actually a boom microphone that falls into the screen.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I want to see that. Little scenery note here. They have adopted a tradition within Earhart's of putting in a symbol for any ship. I guess if I'm reading this right, it's like when ships visit the station, they put a symbol of that ship in the bar.
All right. Okay.
This is a real military tradition today for officers clubs and naval base clubs, where they put the logos or their markings of the big ships or planes that come through that area.
That's cool.
It's kind of like leaving their calling card there. So specifically the Cortez is most visible among them. So I like that little detail, I think that's kind of fun. Apparently they put a lot of work into the sound mix for this episode, Jeff, for specifically watching it in surround sound.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, you and I have stereo headphones, which is not exactly surround sound, but it is kind of. I don't know that in 1996
5, 6, yeah, something like that.
they were doing 5.1 Dolby surround sound. They might have been. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe not
It's
on
probably
basic.
right about there.
Maybe not on basic cable. Like it probably wasn't
Yeah.
transmitting as that.
So if they're doing surround sound, maybe it is just a left-right stereo. You and I should hear it really well in this episode. So let's
Hopefully.
pay attention to the sound mix. I just want to note that. The other thing is Soulmates was originally supposed to air after this episode.
Mhm.
Right. I think we talked about this last time. Basically, P10 was going to show 6 episodes and then they would have had a break and then they would have come back with this. And then Soulmates would have been the next episode after that. But the ratings were really good. Yay, Babylon 5. Ratings were really good. And they didn't want to interfere with that growth. So they said they wanted to show a 7th episode instead of 6. And in order to get this episode ready, they would have had to rush through this post-production and After Effects and stuff like that, and they weren't willing to compromise on that. Soulmates didn't really require much of that, so they just moved Soulmates up.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And the last bit of thing that is really specific to this episode, because all of these notes are like all about this one episode and, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff. JMS says this: I always have to have a title before I begin writing. Interesting, right? Always have to have a title before I begin writing, since the title always influences the feel of the show. I try to design one that is literary or refers to a literary influence, has a certain rhythm, and avoids coming at the subject of the episode too dead on. Now, I remember what I predicted with Soulmates. Failure on that one.
Yeah.
But he's probably got a 99.9% success rate on that. That's phenomenal because his episode titles are great.
Agreed. Yeah.
They really are. It's interesting that he comes up with the title first, and then that title influences the feel of the show and the vibe of the show he's going for.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's interesting.
That's it. That's really all I had from JMS. There wasn't a lot on this episode.
Well, with that, Brent, let's go and watch the episode. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. You've picked a heck of a one to start with. This is a great episode. Apparently, according to us, a really great episode. If you're joining us for the first time, though, I want to tell you what happens from here on, because it's not like other videos that you're watching here on YouTube or things you're listening to on your podcasting app. We're going to pull up the episode right here. We're going to watch it in real time. Brent and I are going to sit here. We're going to stare at this point of the screen, and there's going to be the episode happening. We're going to talk about it, do the reaction thing as they do. If you're watching us on YouTube, you're going to see the edited, kind of cut up version of that discussion. And if you want to see the unedited, the full version of it, that's at our Patreon page at patreon.com/Babylon5First. It's the number 5 and the word first.
And if you're listening to the audio on a podcasting app, you are going to hear the audio of that full YouTube edit, because we want you guys a part of that particular show as well. Because that's honestly, we have a lot of conversation mid-show. And we don't want the folks out there listening to the audio to miss any of that. And then after that, as Jeff said, we're going to come together and we'll talk about any messages. We're going to rank this episode in an all-new ranking that is 100% completely accurate, definitive. And we'll get out of here. So, Jeff, let's watch an episode.
Let's do it. Just got to walk through this dark place to make it start.
We've had a lot of Earth Force military transports come through lately, forcing us to route some of our commercial traffic elsewhere.
That's setting up
Say it's only
Gropos
temporary.
coming up
Should
here in a
be
little
back
bit.
soon.
Good call. Yep,
Anything
good
else?
Just one last item, which also affects the station budget.
Oh, yeah, this
Since we've
thing.
been running at a deficit for a while, and I thought you would have heard about it by now.
Oh, is this
But
the
what?
quarters thing?
The space on Babylon 5 is at a premium. They want us to relocate to smaller quarters to start paying rent.
Rent.
Yes, sir. 30 credits a week, starting immediately.
And this us would be...
You and me, yes. Everyone else is pretty much decoded.
Oh, yeah? Well, you can tell Earth Central they can take a fly
It's
in.
only 30 credits a week, sir. It's not
That was a
much.
good
I don't
cutoff.
care if it's 1 credit a week. I don't care if it's 1 credit a month. It's the principle of the thing.
Some of the smaller quarters are actually quite nice.
Ivanova, I am not moving, and I am not paying the rent. I'll go living down below before I'll pay them a penny. And you can tell those bean counters that they can go to hell. And that's for both of us.
Yes, sir.
I love this so much. Like just the chemistry
Starting out
between
to
the
be
two,
such
the
nice,
back and forth.
quiet
And I love all the budget discussions they have.
We know there's an underground railroad helping unregistered telepaths. Who was your contact? Who's running the operation?
I don't know. Harry had a little lamb.
Is this the first time we get the song?
Yeah.
The blocking the
Face
song?
was white as snow. Every black lamb was shoot. Where?
Hi, wifey.
He's dead.
Doesn't matter. I caught it.
What does he do?
Just before he died, betrayed by his final thoughts. Babylon 5.
There's two things I want to clarify. I never said Besser didn't do anything wrong. I said the people who work on Babylon 5, our main cast, never saw him do anything wrong. Also, if you have read the Psychor trilogy, that gives an entirely different lens on what we just saw. This is literally his job. This is what he has been raised from birth and educated to do. He deeply and truly believes and is reinforced in the culture and society that he lives in. This isn't just his job. It's his duty. It is his obligation. And he's a hero and a paragon of how you're supposed to be. He's living the ideal life as a member of Psychor.
That's his belief.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he is. I want you to remember this, though, okay? Most of these principal actors did have run-in with Bester a year ago, right? Sheridan surely has read the files and has probably had a conversation about it, at least with Ivanova, maybe Garibaldi. So there is a bit of a preconceived notion here regarding this.
I'd say it's definitely a preconceived notion. That's what we're going to literally watch play out.
Right. But there's this, hey, we've got to be really careful with this dude here.
And so there's a comment that I want to talk through a little bit, and it says it doesn't make him any less of a monster. You're right. And it also begs, like, when you make, I'm trying to think of a really good analogy here. When you make a soup and that soup is bad, and all you have to do is pay some extra attention to it, maybe add some ingredients, take some stuff out or whatever, you do that. You care for it. You provide it some love and compassion and hope that it can see the other way. You don't just throw it out. If it doesn't get better after you do this stuff, okay, you can throw it out. But if someone is born and lives in a society that makes them a monster, and so we just treat them like a monster, how are we any better than the monsters?
Well, I would say that it's okay to do that as long as you know that the person is a monster, that you know that the person's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way where I'm going to come to your defense on this one, Jeff, is they didn't necessarily know that yet. We know what we know. We have extra source information. We not only have this scene here, we also see what happens at the end of the show. We know where he's going. We know that Sheridan calls him out as a fascist at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We know all of these things. We see it plain as day right here. And we can't believe that other people don't see it and don't call it out as hardcore as we do. They don't necessarily have all that information. They don't know that it's a monster. And this goes back to the messages we talk about. You have to hold out hope for people. That's a part of what we do. We hold out hope and we try to get them there. And at some point, they're just not going to do it. There's another series where a very smart character comes in contact with a villain as a kid. Okay. Like this is a long-standing relationship. First meets the villain when the villain is just a kid, and the kid's already showing signs of being a villain. Right. And this person corrects him, and there's pieces where this person never trusts the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Fast forward, they go to school and all this sort of stuff. And everybody else loves this kid. Everybody else. And the teacher says something to the effect of, I never saw the repentance. I never saw the change, but I gave him the shadow of a doubt that maybe there was a change that I just didn't see. And then he's later asked, he's like, yeah, but you never trust him. He's like, no, I never trusted him either.
Right. Yeah.
But I gave him, I at least held out hope that he did have a change that maybe I didn't see that others did.
Yeah.
And that, like, that's a great thing is I never saw it, but I'm at least going to give him the shadow of a doubt. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to trust him, but I'm not just going to slam them as an evil person all the way around. I'm going to keep my eye on him. And that's where, like, a Sheridan should have come in and be like, okay, I've read the reports. I've seen what this is. He needs to form his own opinion.
Exactly.
I talk to him and form his own opinion is really what Sheridan ought to do here. But
yeah, Becky says a thing, and I think she does a really good job hitting it. I empathize with Bester because of how deeply indoctrinated he's been by the Corps, but he's also the person who's responsible for figuring out that he's been indoctrinated and have to want to change. So the question I pose is, if I was indoctrinated and the world that can help me see that I'm indoctrinated and that I'm wrong attacks me, treats me like garbage, never engages with me in any way outside of reinforcing everything that I learned about them that has indoctrinated me, I'm not going to think I'm indoctrinated. They are validating all of the propaganda that he's been fed since birth. There's no clearer image of that than in Cora's mother, Cora's father, where we see him tell the interns, these people are awful. They treat us like garbage. They have no respect. And then first thing they do is walk on to Babylon 5, and Zach's like, you're awful, you're terrible, I don't respect. And they're both just like, oh my gosh, he's right. We have to kill these people, which is a huge leap and not okay. Like
that's where I'm going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm going to go with Becky on this. Everything you're saying lends to why that person is going to be that way. It does not justify it for them, though. We still internally have a code of right and wrong that I think is universal among all people. Okay. Like there's a basic code for what's right and what's wrong. And this is not, this is still something where he knows what he should and shouldn't be doing on a fundamental level. And the idea that here's what we know ultimately. And you may have some insight on this, having read the novels where I haven't. They do not see humans as human.
As equal, right?
As equal. Yeah, they do not. Like, you are beneath me.
Yeah.
But they've put it in such a spot where not just you're beneath me, you're cattle.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
This is the whole episode of Pretense from Stargate. If you remember that episode, Jeff.
Yeah.
The episode of Pretense where they're on trial. He's like, listen, you guys, you raise cattle, you eat your cattle, you drink their milk, you do all of this, and you don't feel bad for whenever you kill them for food. We feel the same way about humans.
Mm-hmm.
Or our cattle. And there's just such this arrogance that goes around with that. And I feel like that's what they truly believe here. But it is up to you as the individual to go, no, that's not good. That's not right. And I can tell you that as somebody who was raised in a situation, raised in a spot where I was fed that kind of bullshit, and I had to learn to come out of it in the end. Now, not necessarily to the brainwashing stance inside that Bester may have undergone, but certainly in a little bit of a I guess a microcosm. It's not even micro.
Pretense is a really good example, and I think the difference there is they weren't like, oh, so you think we're cattle, so we're going to kill you. They were like, no, we're going to show you otherwise. Like they gave them an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
No one gives Bester or most people in Psychor an opportunity, and yeah, individuals through in the novels, there's times where Bester has doubt when he's younger, but the mechanism that is his society course corrects that in a really, really aggressive way. And to your point about there being a code of like right and wrong, yeah, but he's literally been programmed with a different code.
The code that I'm talking about supersedes all that code and is more at a base code. It's a base code.
I think that's a beautiful idea.
I think it's a beautiful reality. So,
all right, let's watch him in front of people now and see what happens.
If you could help me better understand what it is to be human.
What would you suggest?
Dinner.
Dinner?
Dinner.
Get it,
In
Delenn.
all my time here, I have rarely sat and just talked with you or with any other human. And I think that I would like to.
Talk about what?
Anything. Everything. Except business and negotiations and whose trade agreement is being most unfair to the others. Just talk.
We had nothing else in common. What else would we talk about?
I'm so
I'll
invested
set it
in
up
this
and get back to you.
coming down into the screen, though.
This evening, okay?
Perfect. Until then, Captain.
Ambassador.
Yeah, they must have taken it out.
Yeah. Or there's
One day they're shooting at you, the next day they're taking you out to dinner. What a universe.
Sheridan, you're going on a date now.
I love how he just
Babylon
rolls
5
with it,
Control.
though. Like,
A Psychor representative requests an immediate appointment with full command staff.
That's damn ironic, isn't it? The Corps got started because we were afraid of telepaths. Now they're victims of our own fears. And we took away every right they had and shoved them into a big black box called Psychor. Now look at them. Black uniforms, jack boots, giving orders. Some days they scare the hell out of me.
Yeah. If you ask me, we created our own monster. And maybe we deserve it.
wow.
All right, give him whatever help he needs. But keep an eye on him.
By the way, Captain, I suggest you check the files on Mr. Bester. We had a few problems with him last year involving a rogue telepath named Ironheart. You might want to find out a little bit more about who you're dealing with.
I love that she tells
I think they'll do as we ask.
You seem awfully confident.
I am.
Did you scan them?
I have to say, that was brilliant. Everything that happened there was perfect. And I think Garibaldi summed it up well, and I loved Sheridan's note. Looks like we've created our own monster, and maybe we deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a mirror to society.
Yeah.
In a really painful way.
Yeah. And, yes.
It makes me wonder, just for a point of thought. I don't know if there's a conversation to be had, but Garibaldi says, we shoved them in this box because they were a threat, and now they've got jackboots and they're doing all this stuff. When you take a step to control, enforce, rein in a group, like, when does that work out, right? Like,
but what winds up happening, and this is from history. Okay, what winds up happening is you have one group that tries to enforce, rein in another group. Okay, that group gets jackboots. That group becomes a problem. They've created their own problem. What happens is that group then winds up taking power, and they wind up reining in a different group and creating different problems with that. And then that group's going to get jackboots and go back. You mentioned to me, I don't remember if we were on mic or off mic, but you mentioned you just watched the Bell Riots episodes of Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, with the sanctuary districts and stuff like that. Timely episode, always. Always a timely episode. That's an episode where they reined people in, put them in a box, and they rose up and stuff happened,
Yeah.
It's what happens time and time again. And yeah, we created Psycor, and Psycor is going to rise up and take over, and they're going to take normals, mundanes, whatever we want to call them, and they're going to put them into a box, and stuff's going to happen.
And it's just going to perpetuate and continue.
It's just the cycle, which is unfortunate.
The neat wrinkle that the Psycor trilogy adds is that the first director of Psycor was meant to never be run by a telepath, but the first director of it was, and he hid it from everyone. And so really kind of set all this up with that end in mind. And that's where, like, in a very short amount of time, they became what we see today.
You didn't hear that?
What?
Open up. Drop the walls. Listen.
You're not supposed to open up and drop the walls.
Sorry, it's all background noise.
They're here. I was right.
Delenn asks if that means Bester doesn't put his walls up. I think that it was directed.
I don't know. Maybe. Look, we knew this was going to happen sooner or later. So what we have to do now is warn the runner and get the hell out of here. I know Bester will try to stop us, so we don't have any choice. We have to kill him.
There's no leap there at all. It's totally reasonable. I mean, they couldn't like zip tie his hands together and put him in a closet or anything. That's not reasonable. So. And yeah, she's not dressed for a date at all, Brent. I mean, that's not even almost date outfit.
Not even close, right? I mean, Sheridan's not either. And we're not in a nice, quiet restaurant with a candle on the table.
For being late, Captain. I decided that as part of learning more
she's even got the showy thing.
Right.
I would try to dress like one tonight. Huh. I hope it does not offend you.
You got a hair, dude?
No, not at all. I mean, it's very attractive. Please.
Yeah, 1 minute you're shooting them out of the sky, Sheridan, and the next you're staring at her gazongas.
Something I can do for you?
That right there is the moment she fell in love with him. Oh my God, he's willing to fight. Like,
it appears my choice was successful.
I do think it's weird he still has his hand communicator on.
He's on call 24/7.
I don't care. It's still like...
They got to stick with that for the episode because that's the whole point of the apartment thing.
Like,
an operation like this couldn't work without support from someone inside the station. I figured it was you. Nuts.
I'll have a good time figuring it out. Me? I'm gonna go back to my quarters and get some sleep.
It's great though. He's not wrong, right?
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
About her, he is.
In Temple, we spent 1 whole year just learning how to appreciate humor.
Watch Rebo and Zudi.
This may seem very strange to you. No other race we've encountered has anything similar.
Oh, then you're in for a big shock. Back on Earth, we have the Laughing Buddha. And then there's the school of Zen mysticism that teaches enlightenment through laughter.
It would appear that we have much more in common than we imagined.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Who'd have thought?
Oh, that's so good. That was so good. I love that scene. That was natural. It made sense.
Winters. Good.
I do agree, Katerina. It wasn't intended as a date, but 100% that ended as a date.
Sure.
He straight up fell for her there at the end. He was like, oh, no.
Hey, listen, I'm going to go back to what we've said so many times before. This show did so good at slow rolling the Sheridan relationship.
Telepaths make love, Commander. He came to say goodbye, Commander.
I give you a gift.
It's a magic eraser.
The only gift I have to give. I have to give.
And the penny. It's like, just taking it out of the way.
It's a good reminder.
He's been in my mind twice today. Why hasn't he seen this? Was that the other part of the gift?
Something just struck me. I told you I
Okay.
did my diatribe, but I'm going to jump
Was
on
it a
just for
penny?
second. It did. It hurt so bad. Broke the skin. Brent, we look at these episodes in terms of like, oh my gosh, Bester sucks.
Yeah.
Bester's awful. I don't think that's the point. That Psychor, man. Like we're missing the point when we focus on Bester. It's the whole point. Psychor sucks.
But who is in control of Psychor?
Somebody else. Bester is not.
I mean, it's the institution sucks and Bester is a product of the institution.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair thing to say. Does not mean that Bester's right. Does not mean that Bester is justified. Does not mean that Bester is excused from the choices and the actions that he has chosen to make.
So, Brett, you're doing the thing I'm saying that was wrong. We're focused on Bester. We're not supposed to be.
I'm not. No. What I'm doing is I'm not absolving Bester from his own choices of what he's done, but I'm also acknowledging he is a product of the institution, which is the real evil and the real threat. Because had Bester been raised in a different situation, how different does he turn out?
Oh, I think dramatically.
Is Bester a product of nature or is he a product of nurture? And I think we're going to go with he's a product of nurture on this one.
Mm-hmm, I think so. I love that she's like waiting. She's like, eh?
Forget it.
Millions for defense, but not 1 penny for tribute.
All right, then. What do you suggest?
Guns? That's your suggestion?
I was going to say, is that like a subtle...
I think so.
They can't scan us if they don't catch us. We just have to make sure we don't get caught.
That's what Jen
You're only in trouble if you get caught.
Before he died, he
I want
cried.
that.
We can't afford it. Do it again.
Mary had a little lamb.
They say it with the joy of a Catholic mass.
But it's very interesting to see the different races of people here that have come together as Telepath. You've got a black man, you've got a Native American, I see female, I see male, I see a nondescript ethnic man.
Comfortable?
Like,
Couldn't be better.
Good. Gotta take a hard line with these people, Susan. Can't show a moment's weakness.
Yes, sir.
I heard a good one today.
I like this.
How many Minbari does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know, sir. How many Minbari does it take to screw in a light bulb?
None. They always surrender right before they finish the job, and they never tell you why.
His laughs go great.
It's Ivanova's response that's the best.
Who's there?
Kosh.
Kosh who?
Gesundheit.
Also, this is where we did our thing. Kosh who? Exactly.
Were you like this when you were married?
Huh? Yeah.
Which time?
Yeah.
First one or the second one?
Well, at least I'm an intelligent life form.
I think now we know why Lockley left him. That's it right there.
I think I like that.
I just really like the two of them together. Like they just play really well off of each other.
They do.
It feels really
They do.
natural.
Not in a
No.
Katsura
Things back home have
way,
been a little tense.
but in
since
their
his
own way.
president died.
It works.
Yes.
Hey
Why?
Jeff, have you ever noticed
According
Bester's
to the
only
news, it
ever
was an
using his
accident.
right hand?
And so it was.
What?
He
never
never
noticed.
uses
Still.
his left hand. Have you ever noticed that?
If you could keep an eye on things for us, we'd...
He's made it. Made it. Made it.
Get down!
Exciting music.
It's me they were after.
Unless they took her in order to get to you. Has that thought ever occurred to you now that you managed to save your own skin?
Won't do them any good. She doesn't know anything that could hurt me or the Corps.
Doesn't get it, does he?
I remember being really impacted by this the first time around.
Yeah.
The idea that Bester is so consumed with himself.
Doesn't even notice.
He's like, even when they're like, hey, you know, they could have taken her to get to you. Well, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't have hurt me anyway. So let them have her.
Yeah.
Which goes to show Bester's own attitude, not just toward normals or mundanes, but even towards his own kind, his own people, which you and I can see. And now these guys, Jeff, right in front of the command staff, they see the same thing and hear the same thing you and I are seeing, which is this dude's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
He is a conceited, self-aggrandizing asshole.
Yeah. Yep. And it's Garibaldi right there. There it is, people.
Yeah.
Hey, wake up! The hell with what you...
Honestly, Jeff, this scene flies in the face of every theory you've ever posted about Bester.
Also, this is the first
scene
time.
right here.
Yeah, but up to this point, this is the first time I'm like, this is out of line. 100% he's out of line here.
And the command staff is right here to see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Sheridan hasn't met Bester really before this point. Wait, he did whatever.
Briefly, yeah.
This is where it all comes from, Jeff.
She does or doesn't know. She could be dead right now.
Garibaldi!
You should have told us she was missing as soon as you called in.
If you're this worried, Mr. Garibaldi, I suggest you double your efforts to find these people.
I agree 100%. Narcissist, horrible, evil, all the self stuff. Also, Sheridan was right to call Garibaldi out. I get though where Garibaldi's coming from. It's not, we're able to do that other layer of mundanes and telepaths, and his looking at that. To Garibaldi, here's someone that he cares about, that Bester's just like, I don't care, I'm fine. This could have been Franklin or anybody else, and Garibaldi would have had the exact same response. He's correct to have it, and he's wrong to have had it.
What? No. Say that again.
He's correct to have had that response. As a human, worried about someone he cares about. He was wrong to have that response as a professional in a professional conversation. That's why Sheridan was correct to call him out in that moment.
Don't you think that sometimes it is correct to have the unprofessional thing happen, knowing that it's going to get called out?
Sometimes.
Here's an example. Baseball, okay? Sometimes it is correct for the coach to go out there and lose his mind on an umpire, knowing he's going to get thrown out, knowing that he's making a fool of himself, knowing that all of that's going to happen, but it riles up his team and leads them on to the win.
Yeah, it is wrong.
Ergo.
And it is right. More than one thing can be true.
So it might be wrong, but it also might be right.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. Well, I don't know if it's more either one than the other, but it is
more
both.
Right than wrong. I'm not going to say. In fact, I'm going to say, at least in the situation of the baseball, it's not wrong at all. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, in baseball, that is the play. Like,
yeah,
that's a play.
And here in this office, Garibaldi losing his shit, knowing that Sheridan's going to call him out and it's going to be okay, but making a point, that is the play. I imagine lawyers do the same thing in court all the time.
I think
they push too hard, and they allow the judge to call them out or whatever, but they've said what they've had to say in front of the jury, and it's there.
Everyone's in on that play. Baseball, court, everyone's in on it. Garibaldi was in on this one. That's not okay. And it's right.
Okay. I just heard Jeff say that it's right. So I'm going to be satisfied with that and continue.
That's fair. Yeah, to Ben's point, it was definitely in character. 100%.
What do you want from me? I want you to understand.
Just heard from the people running the Underground Railroad. They've got Talia. No, she's okay. They haven't hurt her, and they don't intend to. They want to arrange a meeting between you and the head of the operation.
I love what dude just said. I just want you to understand.
Meeting's off.
And if I don't come, what happens to Talia?
Nothing. This isn't a hostage situation, Captain. The situation is spinning out of control. They're trapped. They're trying to find a way out without anyone else getting hurt.
And do you think I can trust them?
Yes.
Knowing what we know, this is so obvious.
I can't tell you right now. I guess you're just going to have to trust me.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable doing that
All
yet,
right.
Dr. Franklin.
When and where?
Took away your freedom, and you wear that badge and those gloves every day of your life while you're out among normals. Keeps you separate from them, from each other, bend and afraid.
You're distorting everything.
Am I?
This guy's great.
Bester shot your friend, Ironheart. And hey, he was a rogue, a runaway, just like us.
You know, his whole speech pattern and everything, it's just him as an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
His look, everything, it's just him.
Want
Like,
to?
there's nothing affected here with
Not
him.
really.
And that's why people hire him.
Don't I?
It's because he has this exotic look. And
I know we've had our problems in the past, but I'm not the enemy. We have the same concerns, you and I. We want to protect our own and protect Earth.
Yeah, who are our own, Bester?
Would it interest you to know that I'm married, Mr. Garibaldi?
After 2 years, they picked another P11 and said I had to marry him. I wanted to increase
Yeah, that
the
speaks
odds
to her.
of
She knows what's
breeding
up.
a P12 or higher. When she was born, they took her from me.
Turns out that
Maybe the
baby we
core
met back in
served a
season
function
1,
a long
that
time
episode,
ago.
Legends.
Now it's something else. I know it. You know it.
I really like how they're letting him tell the stories. He's coming in to
Can't let
reinforce
it
the
go on
point.
this way.
So what do you expect me to do? Snap my fingers and make it all go
It's
away?
almost like he's
You're asking me to take everything I believe and
indoctrinating
turn it
her.
upside down. Why?
Your friend Ironheart was my friend too. They experimented on both of us. They pushed me up here. They made
That
me
would be such a better
P12,
thing than
maybe even a
Remember Byron.
P13,
Would be
but
Ironheart is my friend too.
Went further than I did. Went further than anyone will ever go again. When he escaped, I went with him. Helped set all this up. I know he touched you. I know he gave you something. I know you can help us if you want to.
She doesn't know that she can help you.
It's interesting to me that where he says, she says, why are you doing this? Because you're special. Not because she's a telepath. Not because he cares about her as a person and wants to free her from the shackles of Psychor, but because you can do something for us. Now, I want to be super clear. What the Underground Railroad is doing is amazing, awesome. They're doing God's work, and they're the, quote, good guys in this whole thing. No question. But I do find it fascinating that in order to get her to help, it's, well, one, they want her to help because she's of who she is, not what she is. And the techniques they're using to do it are 100% the same, very similar ones that Psychor uses to flip to the other side. It's the only tactics they know.
I got to tell you though, two thoughts. One, they want her because of what they can do for us. And the thing is, Talia is included in the group of us. They're trying to do this thing not just for themselves, but for all telepaths. Talia is a telepath. They're doing it also for her.
Yes. No, because if that's the case, this is what he says. Why are you telling me this? Because you're a telepath and you matter. And you're special. You can make a difference for people. But nope, you have special powers. We need your special powers.
He's just not been through the Starfleet Leadership Academy. He doesn't know to say it like that.
Yeah.
Here's the other thought, though. Okay, I know you're comparing this to a brainwashing session. I got to tell you, though. Hey, here's all these people that you think are bad and awful and evil. I feel like we constantly go back to this, but my God. Here's all these people that you think are bad and awful and evil. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit you down. We're going to get a whole train of these people that you think are bad, awful, and evil, and we're just going to let them come tell you their stories. You know what happens when you hear people's stories, people's history, people's reason for being the way they are? You know what happens? It changes you. It changes how you view them. It does this magical thing where you stop looking at them as this group, this inhumane group, and you start assigning individuality and humanity to each and every single one of them. All of a sudden, they begin to matter.
And the key difference between the Psychor brainwashing thing that does this, where I'm sure they have people telling stories and whatever, but this is truth, actual experienced truth. It's not bent. It's not slanted. It's not meant to say things. It's just, this is what I experienced. And it was horrible.
I got to tell you, before all of this hit, okay, if you remember a few years ago, the whole George Floyd stuff, Black Lives Matter really was amping up, kind of still fairly fresh. It was still a fairly new thing. And I remember sitting there, I was one of those people, I was like, didn't we fix racism? Like, because I grew up in the 90s,
right?
Where like,
mission accomplished.
The only people that were really racist was my grandparents. Okay, my dad maybe a little bit. And once they die, once they go away, this is done.
Finished.
Like from our generation and on, we're good. Growing up 20 years later. And by the way, I'm also listening to NWA and they're talking about the stuff they're talking about and I'm just not even hearing it. But 20 years later, all of this happens and people are like, yeah, racist, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you know what wound up happening? I made a very poignant decision to shut up and start listening and go, hello, you, my black friend. What is your story? And not try to explain it away, not try to justify it, nothing.
Just take it in.
Just tell me your experience and your story. Really? It was like, I had no idea. Hello, my other friend over here, because it turns out I have more than one friend who's black, Jeff. Tell me like I started asking them, hey, what have you ever experienced this? Am I just a dodo bird here? Am I dumb? Tell me your experience. They were all glad to tell me their experience. Right. And all of a sudden I started listening to people's stories. And you know what happened? It changed me.
Yep.
It changed my attitude on the whole thing. And I realized, you know what? No, we didn't. I think we might have gotten somewhat a little bit close and then we've regressed. We've gone backwards, but I don't think we were actually close to being done with it. No, it was always still there.
Well, you and I've talked about it. The difference between what we call Southern racism and Pacific Northwest racism. Like we all think of racism, like we're being very general and these are our terms, but we think of racism as Southern racism. Like you word this and that stuff. Whereas up here, it's just as bad, but we have really great language around it. Oh no, we're inclusive, we're protective. Also, we're going to put you over here where you don't have these opportunities. At least the quote Southern racism, it's right to your face and you know what's happening.
I love what Andrew says over here in our
yeah.
We regressed because we thought we won and then stopped working on 100%. It. Oh my gosh, Andrew, that'll preach. That you know what I tell my kid all the time? But he's working out now, ready for football and all this sort of stuff. I was like, son, I'm tell you what, you can't ever stop because as soon as you stop, you're gonna go backwards. So what do you mean? I said, son, if you want to keep what you have got, you have to keep doing the things you did to get it.
Yep.
But anyway,
and I think,
point being, when you sit down and you talk to other people and find out their stories and you have the gall to shut up and just listen, kind of like Talia did, it changes you. And I'm telling you, you'll have your thoughts and your ideas. It'll bump up against that stuff and it's going to break your brain for a little bit. And I think that's what we're seeing happen with Talia here is her brain is breaking right now. Like, you know, she's trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And I think like the key difference, just to kind of take it back really quick, we're hearing individuals. This is reinforcing your point. Individuals, their personal stories. At Psychor, they're going to classrooms and labs and these things and hearing it taught to them. They're not actually experiencing it.
It's why people's stories are so important. It's why you and I share our stories as much as we can.
Exactly.
On this show, you know, and in other places, wherever we can, we share our stories and we listen and we try to hear other people's stories. It's why we look for the messages and lift those things up, shine a light on them.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
It's really good lighting they've done there.
Yeah, great production. Notice the sound effects. I'm not hearing anything special.
It sounds good, but
Captain. I thought the message said for me to come alone.
It did.
Well, don't you think your presence might scare off the guy who's running this operation?
I am the guy who's
not really, considering I am the guy running this operation.
You're fired.
Have one hell of a good explanation for this, Doctor.
Right?
I think he does, Captain. And I think you should listen to him.
Listen.
I think you should listen to all of them.
Back on Earth, I heard things. Genetic manipulation, breeding telepaths against their will, so-called relocation camps for rogue telepaths that aren't much better than concentration camps. But we couldn't just keep moving them around like checkers. We had to get them away from Earth.
In principle, I agree with what you're doing. But there are laws, and whether I like them or not, I'm a soldier. I am honor-bound to obey the law.
And as a doctor, I'm honor-bound to help these people.
So what am I supposed to do now?
Juxtapose that with season 4 Sheridan.
Okay.
Telling Captain What's-His-Face, who was his teacher back in the academy, are you an automaton that just blindly follows orders? Or are you here to follow lawful orders that make sense? What are you here to do? I wonder if that's growth and evolution for Sheridan, or if it's just he's looking at them differently because these aren't orders he was received. It's the law. Like it came from somewhere else.
I think of the Star Trek episode, Jeff. Sorry. I think of the Star Trek. I want to say it's a Star Trek episode. You'll probably know it when I start talking about it, or it's not a Star Trek episode at all. But basically, I want to say it was Picard talking about how Starfleet doesn't want automatons to come in and just push out missions and follow orders and do all this. They want people who can think. They want people who know the difference between right and wrong, and people who are able to take what they're given, take the orders they have and the rules that they're meant to follow and apply it to the situation that you're in. That's Star Trek. Tell me that was an episode.
I'm sure it was. I'm positive it was.
Positive.
And other things as well.
Sure. But that's so what we have here. And, you know, ideally this is why we have judges, you know, a judicial system is to take the law and apply it, not blindly and broadly and coldly, but in light of the circumstance and what's going on. And what do we mean by it? What is this piece? Where do we have it? It's what you have to do as a parent all the time. Yeah, I have certain rules. Okay, well, why did you break that rule? Well, my sister was about to be under a bed that was about to collapse. Oh, that's why you went and did whatever you did that would normally get you in really big trouble. Cool. Context matters.
Yeah. There's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And like it's yeah.
If I turn you in, and right now I'm more than a little tempted, I embarrass the station, Earth Central, and give the folks back home one more reason to shut us down. If I don't turn you in, I'm an accomplice.
No. There's a third option.
He's coming.
The problem that Franklin, and this whole thing for Franklin, is he took all this stuff and he made it Sheridan's problem. He made it Babylon 5's problem.
I wouldn't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
We're going to bring you into this. It's time.
Yep.
I remember you.
And I remember you. That's why I started all this.
Listen to me. You have nothing to be afraid of. Come back with me. You won't be harmed.
Of course they will.
Talia?
You'll destroy them inch by inch as a lesson to the rest. You want to keep us frightened and isolated. Not just from normals, but from each other. That's the real reason we wear gloves, isn't it? To keep us apart. But what happens when the gloves come off?
Don't force me to...
It's not working. Someone is fighting us.
I remember how this. I love this.
So good. So good.
I'd have preferred to take a few alive, but better to set an example. The main thing is the leader's gone. Cut off the head, the body dies with it. You had me going for a moment there.
The core is mother, the core is father. I know where my loyalties lie.
Dude, Evil Talia.
Going back
right?
We get Evil Talia right here.
Security
I like
will
Evil
be here
Talia.
within 20 minutes. I didn't want them asking these people any questions, and I don't want to answer any myself. Will, of course, deny all knowledge of this unfortunate incident.
Of course.
Jeff, if they would have left this right here and not done what they're about to do, which I love the way I love how they pulled one over on Bester. I love that.
And how they pulled one over on us.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. But honestly, looking back at it now, if they would have stopped it right there and let this actually be the story that would have happened, all of a sudden, this is what Talia is, and we know now. Yeah. This would have made everything so much better.
And slow play it behind the scenes, quiet, just
and we know. Jeff, let this be that programming that has come out and taken a little bit of assertion, and then it goes back into whatever. Like, make us like, what the hell was that, Talia? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, Jeff, this would have just been awesome. Texas Down the Shark says, yeah, the problem with that is they didn't know she was going to leave. I don't care.
Yeah, we know that, whatever. It would have been cool.
No, but I was going to say, even if she wasn't going to leave, if they're still they're going to slow play this out for the next 4 seasons, 3.5 seasons. Let this be the place where it starts. Introduce Evil Talia now.
Yep.
And we know it. Nobody else knows it, but we know it. Yeah.
An illusion?
A telepathic projection.
Now, as far as Bester's concerned, Underground Railroad is dead, along with its leader. He won't press the issue because he doesn't want to be linked to a bunch of dead bodies. He'll go quietly.
And Talia is off scot-free.
All I have to do
Pro
is let him
Psychor.
go.
And avoid seeing him before he goes. If he suspects anything, he might scan you, and you don't have the defenses to block him.
And no more Underground Railroad.
Babylon 5's gotten too hot for it. Others will pick up where I left off.
You know too much. If Bester scans you, can you keep him out?
She's like, yeah.
I think so. Jason's little gift.
Gave you more than you know. What we did back there shouldn't have worked, not with that side cop. You tipped the balance. I felt it when we were joined. You are more than you think you are.
Then what am I?
The future.
God, the seeds are planted so well. So well.
Captain? You won't have a problem keeping an eye on him, will you?
No problem at all.
Good. Well, see you next time, Ms. Winters.
Like, he thinks she's all in. That's so brilliant.
There's a great gif right there of Bester.
Mm-hmm. It's so great, too. Does he know? What does he know?
I can't go into details, but in light of recent events, I think we need to reevaluate our relationship. Which is just a formal way of saying that
I want to touch you
need
with my
someone to talk
hands.
to.
I say the
As
same thing to
strange
my
as
wife.
this sounds, you're the only one I can think of.
She just needs
Unless
a friend
my
right now.
being here offends you.
No, you don't offend me. But that does.
This isn't romantic. This is just really good friends, like a friendship forming, right?
Which is what has been happening this entire time.
Yeah, I don't think so. I also love Ivana enforcing her boundaries too. With like, you're great, not that.
It's interesting she's got it standing up just that way, almost as if they did it for the camera.
The camera's here? Here? Okay, I'll set it there.
You ever notice that the Psychor badge is basically in the same shape that the Superman logo's in?
It is, isn't it? 100% that was intentional, because I wonder if that means JMS is Psychor because he became Superman.
Well, it's fake. It's fake Superman. It's not really Superman.
Bizarro Superman.
Right.
Brent, listeners, viewers, I count Talia Winters as part of the main crew. Even though she's not a paid member of Earth Alliance, she interacts with them on a regular basis. They talk about things and whatever. In this episode, Bester, not only in front of the command staff, behaved like a narcissistic piece of absolute human garbage, but also outright said to Talia, we murdered these people. It's a good thing. We're going to deny it. Hush, hush. I'm a horrible person. Everyone now knows. I am retracting my statement that the command staff should have no reason to treat him the way they do. What did I say? An unbiased assessment was what I was going to offer. That is what I have offered.
Welcome to the light, Jeff. Welcome to the light.
I'm just not going to sit and assume, hey, all the stuff, I need to be shown. And I was shown, but there's so much happening, especially in this episode.
Right in front of your entire theory crafting of where this goes literally just fell by the wayside in 2 scenes in this episode. And that's okay. And that's the way it should have been.
I also still think that Zach was horrible, and that was not an appropriate response, and it validated what they'd been taught, and it's still not great, which is a lesson, and we'll talk about it when we get to that episode.
I think those two things are
separate,
mutually independent of each other.
Agreed.
You know, I do.
So that's it. There you go. Well, I don't think there's anything else for us to discuss.
We talked about it all during the episode. Yeah. Honestly, we talked about the messages during the episode already. We don't really need to rehash any of them. Jeff, were there any messages or any thoughts that we didn't discuss during the episode you'd like to bring out here?
I just did. That's really all that I've got from it. And the thing we talked about, I just got to say it again. God, this would have been so awesome if it was Evil Talia coming up. Would have been amazing.
Just stop it right there. Let all those people die. Let that have happened. Let the bad guy win on this one. Oh my gosh. From a narrative standpoint, it would have been so good. Would have been so good. And it could have happened this early, could have happened this early.
Yeah. We loved it the first time around. I loved it here. Sheridan's solution to the whole rent thing. It's so good. And again, like, they're just great. Sheridan and Ivanova are fantastic together. I really dug it. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I just want to point this out. And I don't know if this is what we said earlier when we talked about how the A plot and B plot dovetail really nicely together. Okay. We talked quite a bit about Talia sitting there listening to the stories of the people.
Yeah.
You've got the people on this side, the rogue telepaths on this side. You've got Talia and Psychor on the other side. Talia sitting there finally listening, and she's finding out something that she has more in common with them than she originally thought. Okay. Flash over to Sheridan and Delenn having dinner. They're talking back and forth, and it's a much more jovial conversation. And Delenn literally says, I guess we have much more in common than we thought.
Look at that.
I love the way these two show what happens when you sit down and have a conversation with somebody. Here's the prescription I'm going to give. I'm going to issue this as a challenge. Find somebody different than you and go to dinner with them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a date. Just be careful what dress you buy.
It could become a date. We don't want to take that off the table.
Would become a date if you're both consenting.
Right? Things happen.
But find somebody different and go take them out to dinner.
Yep.
And see what happens. And just listen to their stories and ask this question. Do we have more in common than I thought?
Delenn putting herself out in the chat, willing to go on dates. Just heads up. I don't know if I should just put that on blast, but hey, maybe you'll get something good. I don't know. But yeah, Katerina's exactly right. Don't assume it's a date unless you say it's one, and it could become one. But Brent, to your point, not only is it that they found something in common, in both cases, they sat with the intent to bring their truth, right? The people sharing their stories with Talia were sharing their experience, the truth that they experienced with her in a true and honest way. Sheridan and Delenn sat down. There was no pretense. If it was a date, there would have been some pretense. There would have been expectation. The expectation was, we're going to talk. And so they both brought their two true selves.
But they also both dressed up. They did their hair. They went to someplace nice. So there was some thought of what it could happen.
I think that was more of a show.
I'm gonna put my best foot forward kind of a thing.
I think that was more of a show of mutual respect than anything else.
Okay.
But yeah, the truth, man. It's all about the truth.
Ben points out there is that story that is definitely in Becoming Superman. I think it might be in Claudia's biography as well, where JMS picks her up in a limo full of roses for not a date.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, we're on a date.
Which then quickly changed their relationship a little bit moving forward. It got awkward.
Yeah. So,
well, Brent, now it's your turn this week with a huge task as we are creating the 100% completely accurate, definitive ranking of all the episodes of season 2 of Babylon 5. Right now, our top 5, 5th place, we have Revelations. 4th, A Distant Star. 3rd, Points of Departure, The Geometry of Shadows, and Soulmates in the top spot. Where, Brent, are you going to put A Race Through Dark Places?
Yeah, this one actually is relatively easy for me. This is a top 3 episode. What's not easy is where does it go in the top 3? It's going to be a top 3 episode though.
Okay.
Is it better than Soulmates? There's a lot that you could say makes this episode so much better than Soulmates. I just enjoyed Soulmates so much more. I really did. Okay, Geometry of Shadows. I got to tell you, I look at Geometry of Shadows in the number 2 spot, and I remember where we had it in the first one. I'm like, did we oversell it on this watch through? No, we didn't, because this is 100% completely accurate and definitive. Where is this episode? And I can't help but think of this episode in the grander scheme of everything. And while I like this episode and I enjoy this episode, I think Soulmates and Geometry of Shadows were just that much better.
Wow.
But this is a top 3 episode. I'm not taking anything away from this episode. This is our new number 3 episode, Jeff.
Okay. Wow.
New number 3 episode.
You got it. What's fascinating in your placement, I love it. I don't disagree. But in our final ranking of the first time viewing, it was a top 3 episode in the final ranking. We had Long Twilight Struggle as number 1, Coming of Shadows at number 2, and A Race Through Dark Places in number 3.
Interesting. I wouldn't be shocked if this wound up a top 5 episode by the time we were all said and done.
I say, yeah. And then I look at some of the other episodes. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think this episode in a ranking right now, honestly, suffers from knowing where it goes.
Yeah.
Knowing where the story goes, where we didn't know that the first time around. But this is a good episode all the way around. It's entertaining. It keeps your attention. This is, as of right now, and Jeff, we should maybe do this.
Yeah.
Rank the Bester episodes.
Oh.
This is hand over fist better than Mind War.
I'm going to make the note.
Hand over fist better than Mind War. And Bester, I think in my mind, this seals Bester as a major character in the Babylon 5 universe. How many episodes do we get with Bester overall? 10, maybe not even that. 7. Come on, Council Chambers. I know you guys know.
Right, you got this on tap.
I was gonna say, I know you guys know right off the top of your head. But Bester is a major character in the Babylon 5, and this is the episode I think that really cements his status.
Yeah.
In the universe here.
Before this, he was a sort of villain.
He was a guy who came in once. He was that guy from Star Trek we knew.
Yep. Oh, look at that. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, Brent, I'm actually like 12 times.
12 episodes. That's okay.
Just over 10%.
Yeah.
This is a moment. It's bittersweet, right? So we're done with the Race to Dark Places, but next week, Brent, week is The Coming of Shadows.
Our number 2 episode in the first time.
Wow. Yeah, we're hitting a stride here. Do you remember what your prediction, not what you thought of the episode, but what you predicted The Coming of Shadows was going to be about?
Yeah, I basically said whatever the shadows are, because we really didn't know at this point, right? We had inklings, but we didn't know at this point. So whatever the shadows are, they're going to bust on the scene, and everyone is going to know who they are by the end of the episode. That's what it is.
There you go.
What about you?
I said that there are big capital S shadows and little s shadows. The big S shadows are like the shadow monster things that we saw. The little s are all the other things, like the Earth Force stuff, the Earth Alliance stuff, the Londo, Jakar, the Centauri Nar, and all the other awful things that are going on. And so I felt that this was going to be a Londo and a Jakar episode, where a rift between Jakar and the Kari was going to open the door for the shadows to openly attack. We're going to talk about that next week. I am very excited for this episode. I'm sure you are, Brent. I'm sure all of you watching and joining us, listening to us, are also excited. This is like a big deal. This is a big deal episode. I am excited. So be here next week, same place, same time. In fact, if you really like Coming of Shadows, you could catch us in all the places we are, right? We're on podcasting apps. There is a podcasting app called Good Pods, where we have been the #1 Star Trek podcast for a couple of years now, which is fascinating because not a Star Trek podcast is literally in the title of our show. But it's there. But go check it out there. Check it out on YouTube. See all the cool stuff. Come check out our Patreon where you can see the neat things. Watch it everywhere you can. While you're there, subscribe, like, hit the stars, turn on the bell notifications, all those cool things. It's fantastic when those things happen. If you leave us a review or something, we might read it here on the show. I love doing that. But the one single thing you can do that really, truly makes a difference, Brent and I love more than anything, is you can share this show with someone. Word of mouth That's the way we grow our community. So share the show with someone who loves Babylon 5 or needs to get into it for the first or second time. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out this week.
Jeff.
Yeah, Brent, what is up?
You know, we talked a lot today about sitting down with other people and sharing your stories, you know? So I think I'd like to do that. So my friend Jeff, just sit right there and you'll hear a tale.
Oh, don't do this, Brent. Come on. We've already gone so long. Just know.
A tale of a fateful trip that started from a tiny port aboard a tiny ship.
Oh my God, for crying out loud. We did the predictions, yeah? We talked about our predictions.
Yeah.
Okay. There's in the chat, they're like, did they skip it? Yeah, I think they skipped it. No, we did them.
No, we talked about it. I said that it was the shadows are going to bust on the scene and be whatever they are, and you said that it was Jakar and the Kari having a fallen out. Yeah, record-breaking length episode.
Not yet.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We're still sub 2 hours right now. That includes the banter and everything at the beginning and all that. So,
it might be our longest episode piece in its raw form.
There was a lot of stops and starts. For sure, but that's okay. That's the nature of the conversation, right?
To Andrew's earlier point, I was just fulfilling the role of the devil's advocate.
I'm glad that you came around on the whole Bester thing.
I told you I was going to look in an unbiased way,
and you did. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You were able to really do it. I had my doubts. I'll be honest. You're just because sometimes people they dig in their heels on something like that.
Well, I mean, it's no secret, and I'm sharing this for our good friends in Club 65, but it's no secret that sometimes we'll lean in a little bit on some of our less popular opinions, and 100%. I've done a little bit of that with Bester, but I still think. I mean, I believe what I believe, but I still think like the discussion is valuable. It's not just he's a bad guy, he sucks, and we hate him. No, there's context and there's things to discuss, because if we don't discuss those things, there will be many more bad guys who just suck.
Well, here's where I think it's really valuable about what you said is sometimes we dislike people and we base that on certain reasons that aren't actually fact, that aren't actually real reasons. And when we go back and examine it and we find out that, oh, that's actually not the truth, and that actually can change. For example, you had a thought about Bester that the people should not be treating him this way because they don't know XYZ. Except for that scene on Mars, they don't know anything's wrong.
Yep.
They should never be treating him like that, and they're just wrong. Until you saw the scene where he's in there with the command staff, just the command staff. Also, the thing that happened with Talia, who you said is part of the crew, right? So yeah, that kind of negates the whole basis for your argument in the first place. And you're like, okay, yeah, he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's valuable to be able to go, hey, I have this idea. What is that idea based on? And is that thing that it's based on actually still hold water? And that's the important discussion to have.
If I had a magic wand and it could change, I don't know, the course of humanity, what it would do is it would have people be able to make, oh my gosh. If I had a magic wand that could actually fix the trajectory of humanity forever, the thing it would do is allow people to publicly change their minds. I learned something. I now think differently about that thing. And that's okay.
There you go. Nia asked, how many court-martialable offenses is Franklin up to at this point?
Oh God, that's a good question.
I would simply say about as many as Data or Worf have had at this point in their respective shows.
That's fair.
Because yikes. All right, Jeff, Club 65. Hey, listen, if you guys are new around here and you made it to this point, you're like, wait, they did the outro a few minutes ago, but the show's still going. I looked up and there were still 5-10 minutes left on the episode. Maybe not 10 minutes, but there's still a bunch of time left and I'm just checking it out. Yeah, this is what Club 65 is. It's our after party. The thing is, we have a rule here in Club 65. We don't talk about this. We don't tell people what Club 65 is. They just have to find it for themselves, much like you stuck around and you found it for yourself. This is what Club 65 is. It's an old tradition Jeff and I have going way back to so many years ago.
So many.
On the front porch. Yeah, so we'll let you guys know the first rule of Club 65 is we don't talk about Club 65 after, but we do ask you to do something for us. Drop a 65 down in the comments below. One of my favorite things, Jeff, is seeing how creative people get with including the number 65 in their comment.
Super cool.
It's so good. It's so good, Jeff. But with that, I think it is time for us to get out of here.
Yeah, I have an extra cot in my room, and I need to see if it's still being occupied or not.
All right, I'm gonna
Dr. Akin
want that at all. Dr. Akin. That's exactly the kind of doctor you want to go to, as a person named Dr. Akin.
Right? Yeah, doctor of my back is
Akin. Dr. Akin. That's exactly why. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go there. Hey, we're going to talk to you guys next time. We'll see you next week right here on Babylon 5 for the second time.
See ya.